notes to be prompting you guys. Again, I'm going to go through a lot of statistics, not a lot, some statistics today, so I wanted to make sure that I had them correct. Some of these statistics are from America, and a couple of them are directly from Australia, so I'll try to articulate those. And I see somebody here has got multiple devices, okay? So iPad, iPhone, who else has multiple devices with them today? 1, 2. So we have smart. What have you got? What have you got?
iPhone.
What have you got? See what I have? I'm the one selling the stuff, and I haven't made the change yet. How funny is that, right? So I'm still fighting and screaming the whole two-handed phone concept, but we'll get there, I guess. Actually, I realize I'm going to have to get one just to be able to sell this stuff, so I'm looking at the Androids. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. But basically, does anyone want to take a guess? You might know. How many businesses have websites in Australia? Percentage-wise, this is a statistic from MyOp that did an inquiry about two years ago. They did a big blast out of their entire database, and they asked a whole bunch of questions about the business, internet marketing, etc. So what number do you think businesses that have percentage of businesses in Australia that have a website, that have a web presence?
73%?
That's far and away too high.
Oh, is it?
41.
Below that?
Below 41?
Yep. Above that?
30.
33.
Wow.
33% of businesses, this is as of 2 years ago. More interesting, the statistic, 18% of the 33% were judged as having a poor user experience. So there's a lot of poor websites on the web, as those of us in the industry know, and again, how do we fix that? One of the ways to fix that is to actually start looking at mobile devices because of the volume of search. Now, we talk about how many have websites. How many businesses in America do you think have mobile websites in the U.S.? Mobile websites. And when I mean mobile websites, I mean a website that renders properly on a mobile device. Because any website can be viewed on a mobile device. You guys have probably seen that if you go to a website, it'll just load the left corner, and then you're scrolling. So it hasn't been actually formulated to render properly on the device. Back to the question, though, what percent of U.S. businesses have gone mobile? And the mobile industry there is huge.
50%.
Less than 1%. Businesses are just not getting it. They're not waking up. In Australia, less than 1% of businesses have a modified mobile phone. And the big ones that do are the ones you would think of. Virgin. You know, you go to Woolies, have you seen it? You get to Woolies, they're like pushing the mobile phone site, like, so what? But for them, it's a big deal. So it's a big deal for some of the companies here in Australia, and they're just now starting to get it, and the QR code is just breaking in to that whole concept. A lot of people don't have an idea what that is. We'll talk about that. All right, so how many local searches? When I mean local searches, I mean a search which uses a geo-modifier, right? So how many searches are done locally on a PC? In other words, someone's sitting at a PC and they do a search and they search for Solicitor Brisbane. What percentage of those people are actually searching for a local person? A lot? You think so? 1 in 5. So 20%. 20% are actually using a geo-modifier to find a local business or service. How many are using a geo-modifier on a mobile device when they do a search?
What's a geo-modifier?
Like adding Brisbane, like Cafe Brisbane or Restaurant Balimba,
Okay.
right? Or Laundromat Chermside, right? And these are the kinds of things that people are searching for. You know, some of the hot things that people are searching for is anything emergency-based. You just got locked out of your car. You're in a restaurant in, Hamilton. What are you going to do? Locksmith Hamilton, right? So again, anyway, to answer the question, 9 in 10 searches on a mobile device use a geo-modifier. Now that's an American statistic as well. So I'm not sure if you guys emulate that yourselves. How many of you are using geo-modifiers when you do searches to try to bring things down to a small? Yeah. Yeah. So everyone understands the concept of a geo-modifier. It's a fancy word for just adding a city or a state or even better, a suburb. So again, huge statistic. 1 in 5 on a PC, 9 out of 10 on a mobile device. Question is, do you have a mobile website for your business, really, is the answer. And it is, for those of us that are in business that aren't necessarily so emergency-based, which is the bulk of us in the room, it's probably not as important, but at the end of the day, with the volume of these devices that are coming out, which is another statistic we'll talk about, it is a no-brainer at this point. We already mentioned the statistic they foresee that 35% of all searches on the internet by 2013 will be made from a mobile device. Seems like a small percentage actually with the number of devices that we're going to talk about, but still 35% of all searches done on mobile devices. And there's 5 times more mobile phones on the planet than computers. So again, it starts to become a no-brainer if you're going to be in this space, that your business needs to be in that space, right? Now I found this absolutely amazing. This is local search driving foot traffic and sales to local businesses, all right? So this is the meat, right? This is getting people in the door. This is a U.S. Statistic, and this is from Q1 2010, right? Almost 1/3 of smartphone users who search for local businesses via mobile end up visiting or calling the location. So the 1 out of 9, 30% of those 9 out of 10, they're going to call you. It's an amazing statistic. 30% take up. This is also amazing. Approximately 1 in 3 Android and iPhone owners discovered at least 2 new businesses in the first quarter as a result of using the local search on their phone. And they're finding new businesses because they're finding those businesses that actually have the mobile phone website. Because when you start scrolling through searches on a mobile phone and you hit a site, are you going to stay on the site that is broken and you have to scroll around through? Or are you going to keep looking for the one that says, oh, that works on my device and I have buttons and it's very click through and very easy to use? So again, it starts to become a no-brainer. And the most popular types of information being looked for, very simple: address, more information, and a phone number. 3 things. So, when I talk to businesses about implementing this, one of the things that I suggest is that they certainly have what's called a click-to-call button. So you can create what's called a click-to-call button. So you have a button on the top that says the phone number. All they do is touch it, and it's with an iPhone or an Android, it just fires up the phone. It just rings automatically. So all they have to do is see it, push it, and it's ringing. Hello. So again, very, very quick way to get people to take action in your business and get them in the door now. There's 68% of smartphone users. I can't quite see what year this is, but it's probably, again, 2010. 68% of smartphone owners use their phone to look up the address or store hours of a local store before they want to visit. 40% then check to see if an item is available for in-store pickup. So people are using these devices now. They're not picking up the phone from the house anymore. They're travel. You guys are all mobile. That's why you're mobile, right? Because you are moving all the time. Okay, again, some great statistics here. Why is mobile marketing so hot? Mobile, 4.8 billion versus internet, 1.7 billion. 3 times the volume of people out there consuming that search. 5 billion mobile users are expected in 2010. Now I've got a sheet that goes out. You mentioned 5 billion. By the end of 2012, they're expecting 5.9 billion installed phones. That's 1 per person. There's 6 billion people on the planet. And how many of you have multiple phones? Not necessarily that you use them all the time, but you bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This statistic actually says 5.9 mobile phones being used on the planet. That's amazing. Again, do you have a mobile website for your business? It's becoming a no-brainer. This is also quite cool. Any business that wants to use some kind of coupon engagement, okay? Now, coupon doesn't necessarily mean discount. You can do lots of things with coupons, but any kind of coupon engagement, mobile has a 5 times better sales conversion than online, right? So you're 5 times more chance of getting someone to convert if they find you on a mobile phone than if they find you on a PC. And then the mobile has a 7 times better coupon redemption rate than a printed version of the coupon. Why would you think that is? It's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? The coupon's on the phone. You actually send the coupon sitting there on a page on your website, and they can see the coupon. They just walk in and they show you the coupon. They don't have to clip it, they don't have to cut it, they don't have to save it, they don't have to think about it. Now in America, as you can imagine, right now they are decimated economically, and the coupon uptake is, again, I was watching a webinar the other day, it's an amazing amount of people that are actually searching for coupons. I don't think it's as hot right now in Australia because we're not in such a state economically. But I still think that, again, if you're a business and you're looking to get people to take action, have some kind of incentive on the site, whether it's a coupon, whether it's whatever, again, get them to take action and get them to actually come into the store or click to call. So again, quite interesting. Now, again, I'm interested to see how you guys feel about this. Why are mobile phones so important? Again, in the U.S., 91% of adults keep the mobile phone within 1 meter of them 24 hours a day. And everyone agree there that that's a statistic that we could apply to this group? Right?
We must be in the 9%.
What's even more interesting, you start getting into the email marketing and moving away from email, thinking about mobile, you start using SMS. Do you know what the average open time is on an email these days? So someone sends you a marketing email, what's the average time it takes you before you get to it and open it? Now this is like a marketing email, right? So clearly it's a marketing email.
Something they
48 hours is the number, and that's an average, right? So some people take 5 days, some people open it the next minute. Do you know what the uptake is on SMSs that hit your phone? What's the average time it takes you to open and read an SMS by the time it hits your phone?
Yeah.
15 seconds
Whoa.
on average. That is very, very powerful. The whole concept of SMS marketing is a whole other talk, but that is extraordinarily powerful. But it only works, guess what, if you got a phone that you can send them to that they can read it to straight away. So again, start thinking about this mobile space because it is where the world's moving. And if you're not getting your business there, you're really going to be behind the 8 ball. Google's behind this as well. Google expects, now this is from, again, 2010, expects by the year 2015, $4 billion in sales to be driven by mobile devices. $4 billion annually purchased through a mobile phone or device. My point is, think of that $4 billion as a huge wave that's just washing over the internet every year, and you just want to put your biggest glove out you can to catch as much of that wave as possible. So you've got to have your space in the mobile place, in my humble opinion anyway. And when we talk about, again, what does Google think? The chairman of Google, you guys familiar with Salesforce? It's like an online CRM. They're massive, they're a huge company. They just had like 300,000 people take over San Francisco for their annual event a couple months ago. And they had one of their the keynote speaker was the chairman of the CEO of Google, former CEO of Google, which is now the chairman. His comment was, the future will be mobile first, but his quote is, the next generation of leaders and startups to emerge will involve mobile, local, and social, close quotes, in explaining that we're reaching diminishing returns in developing products for the desktop PC. This is where, Google has said everything's mobile first, PC second. All right, so that's kind of the content that I had about the mobile devices. Is there any questions or thoughts, comments?
I've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to go.
All right. Well, I might jump through then to this. And you guys, you talked about seeing these. You were at an event last night where they talked about these.
Yeah.
Everyone know what these are? I just showed you the 3 different kinds. This is would be a very basic one, probably taking you to just a website that has some very basic content. You can see they start getting a little busier when they send you to a website that has more content. So the code has to be more encrypted to include more stuff. And then this is when they really get fancy. You can actually have it encrypted with like a logo. So you can see Adidas has actually gone in and had that done. Now, if you want to have these done, you can they're free pieces of software which can create QR codes. QR stands for quick response. Now, why would you want one of these? You've got one on your card. Why is that on your card?
Well, there's a lot of information I find you have to put on a business card. It just gets very cramped, it gets really messy.
Yep.
It's a really quick way they can scan it, they can get to your website, they can get all your information and contact you straight away and back to it.
Okay, so you're just sending them directly to your homepage?
No, I've got it hooked up that it actually tracks how many hits on your
Yep.
scans and once you're on it.
Yep. But again, where do they land? They actually once they scan, where do they end up?
At the moment, I've got them going to the homepage.
Right.
But I'm working on sending them to a custom landing page.
Well, the point with this is quite amazing. Again, take your blinders off. You could send them to a Facebook like page. You could send them to a video. You could send them to a coupon. You could send them to anything. It can be anything on the web. It doesn't need to be a homepage. So again, depending on your business, I've thought about, for certain businesses like used car lots. How many people go to used car lots on the weekends because they hate dealing with the salespeople? Well, if every car had one of these and they could just scan, they could go to a web page for every one of them. I mean, that's very powerful. So for offline businesses, cafes, they want a little card, they could actually have a user card account set up. You could scan it, go to that user card setup. You know what I mean? You could really get creative with this stuff. So it's very sexy, very interesting, and you can create these for free. So there's one of my free tidbits. Go find the QR code generator, put the website in it, push a button, and it generates these little things, and away you go. So very easy to do this. I'll share one last thing with you. I have a client that's she's very into the cutting edge stuff, and she has an online business. She sells multicultural supplies for children to schools and care centers and that kind of thing. So books and toys and mats and everything you can think of that has a multicultural flair. Maori stuff and Aboriginal stuff and all that. And she sells that worldwide. And she has 2 websites, has about 600 pages across the 2 sites because they're both stores, right? So when I work with businesses and I do SEO for large sites like that, I charge per page fee, and I gave her a very discounted per page fee because she had so many pages. So we worked together for 3 months. It was quite good, and I haven't heard from her for a couple months. And last Thursday I got an email from her, and she actually apologized for not sending me business. And I thought, how cool is that? I mean, I must be forging good relationships with my clients because I've never had a client apologize for not giving me business. This was at 7:45. I was going out to eat that night, and I came back, and I stuck her website in my tool and sent this to her. And I said, that's cool, don't worry about it, no problems. Whenever you get ready, I said, but have a look at this. And I've got a little emulator that they can go look at what their website would look like using this mobile tool generator that I have. Now, I sent that at 10:01, right? I'm just going to read you her responses. Now, this is a woman who just told me she didn't have any money, didn't want to do any work, and was going to wait till next year. At 10:11, she says, okay, you have me interested. Can you call me tomorrow? I'll read this mobile website. At 10:12, deal for 2 websites, LOL. At 10:34, funny, I thought I knew what a mobile website was and that I had one, already until I saw this. Thanks, now I get it. So, again, very, very powerful stuff. You guys need to be playing in that space. My last free tip is if you have a WordPress website, you can just go download a plugin. There are a number of plugins. The one I use is called Chappell, and you can have your WordPress site mobilized in seconds, less than 2 hours. Chappell is the one that I use, only because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. If you don't want to muck around with developer keys and all that stuff, then just download the WordPress mobile pack, and that gives you analytics. Again, a bit of a limited website. You can change a couple things, but at least it will render the website on a mobile phone properly straight away. And with that, I thank you guys for your time this morning.
That's great. We've got time for 1 or 2 questions. You've got 2 minutes. If anybody's got any questions still.
Wait, did you spell Wappel?
WAPPLE. And I will add, yes, I am the author of 2 books. One personal development, one more about my business. So if you guys are interested in talking about that kind of stuff, I'm very passionate about all of that. So happy to help. Now I'll have my banana bread.
Well, Curtis, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Great.